Hello, everybody. This is Kevin from Baselines Incorporated. And today I want to talk to you about Doors Next and the report builder. I have come across many people, especially when they're first writing reports in Report Builder, they go and they run reports to say, hey, show me the requirements that I've got. And they get double the amount of requirements than they expect. Why is this happening? I'm going to show you. Let's get to it. All right, in order to show you Report Builder, I need to first show you what I'm reporting against. So the idea is I am building a car. The car has an infotainment component and a global configuration. If you're not using global configurations, don't worry about it. Just pretend that this is a infotainment project. So in any case, you can see I have one specification in here, and it looks like if I'm eyeballing it, it's 7 requirements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8 requirements. The artifact type is called requirement. Okay. So this is not a Doors Next video. This is a report builder video. I want to report on my requirements, and I've never used report builder before. So I'm just going to go here and I'm going to build my report. Okay, so now I've got my report builder up. I'm creating a new report, and I've got my data source for LQE scope by configuration. This could also just be lifecycle query engine, and it'll likely work the same with data warehouse. I want to report on current data, so I click continue, and I'm going to go and I'm going to pick my vehicle project, and then it's going to ask me, well, what do I want to report against? And so because I showed my requirements in Doors, that's what I want to see. I want to see my infotainment requirements in Doors Next. So I'm going to just choose requirement here. And when I twirl this down, I can see that there are specific types. And maybe that can be a future video. But for right now, I'm going to choose this specifically. Okay, I'm going to choose the requirement specifically because I want to report against requirements. I don't want any information or paragraph or anything else. I want just requirement. If I do this, it's going to give me everything here. I don't want everything there. Just want requirement. So I'll go ahead and I'll click OK or continue. And I don't care about any relationships. I just want to see my requirements. And I will, just for the purposes of this, to keep things really contained, if you noticed my infotainment specification, I'm in the infotainment component. If you don't use, if you're not opted into configuration management, you don't have to worry about this part. And I am going to go and I want to only report on the vehicle component as infotainment. Okay, so it's only going to look at infotainment. I don't care about anything else. And I could put that in here as a column. These are the columns that I want to see in my report, the attributes. You could think of it that way. I'm just going to click continue. I'll use the defaults. And I don't have to actually name and save the report. I can just run it. And I've already run this in the past. So you can see I've got my configuration chosen. Again, if I didn't have that, if I wasn't opted in, I could just pick my project area like I did from before. I'm going to click run. Okay. Now we have an issue, and I'm going to sort by requirement ID so we can see the issue. And this affects people when they first use Report Builder, and it's very confusing for them. So we have all of these artifacts here, and first off, you'll notice that there's more than 8 of them. And then the next thing you'll notice is that there are some artifacts that are here twice. So what's going on here? Like, it's very, very confusing. So let me go back. In Doors Next, unlike other requirement tools, you've got a module, which is like a document, and this requirement 6247, it's part of this module. It is included in this module in section 3. Okay, no problem. The issue is that I could actually have this same exact requirement. I could put this in the module again. Okay, insert existing artifact after. Okay, and I could literally find my requirement. So here it is, and I can insert this in again. So that's one rule. You can have the same requirement in the same module multiple times. You might want to do that to reference things, although I don't recommend it. But you can also have the same requirement in multiple modules in your same component or your project area. So I could put this in other modules, and it's always going to be up to date. If I update it in one module, it updates it in the other because it's literally the same base artifact. So that's the tool terminology that we use. We call that a base artifact. So this is the artifact in the module, but when I click here, I'm seeing the artifact in the module, right? It says in module, but what I can do is I can go to open artifact and I can open up the base artifact in a new tab. And the artifact loads up right here. So this is the base artifact. It doesn't say in module above it. So we're good to go. Another tip off, by the way, that this is happening is if I come up here and I do a search for this ID 6247, you'll see it comes up twice. And that's the clue. Okay. Because each of these artifacts, when it's in a different module or in a different spot in the module, those links are also tracked separately. So a base artifact link is different than a module artifact link. And if you don't know any of this, reporting is going to be a problem for you because we're going to get the same artifact multiple times. One of these is the base artifact, and one of these is the artifact in the module. And because they have separate links, they're in essentially the LQE or the data warehouse twice. So how do we fix this? Good news is it's very easy. We go back, okay? And I'm going to change my report just a little bit. So I'm going to start with, actually, I could start with requirement collection and go down that way. Instead, what I'll do is I'll just add this relationship. So I'm going to add a new relationship for used in module. Okay, used by module. And so come down and you can see all of these links, right? So, so requirement collection used by a module is a collection of requirements. That's how you remember that, right? And it's got to be required. It has to be in the module. I care about my module, and I can pick, a generic module. So I can do that, or I could say, well, let's look at this infotainment specification here. It is the requirement specification. So just to ensure that this works the way I want, so I don't choose requirements document. That's a different type. I choose requirement specification. Click OK there. Continue. And what it's going to do is on the format results page, it's going to add the columns for the module that I chose, right? Now I haven't filtered down. I only have one module in this component. But if I had 100 modules in this component, it wouldn't matter. I could filter it down. In any case, I'm going to run the report. And now I expect that I will get just 8 requirements. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is how to use Report Builder to report on requirements in Doors Next modules. I'm Kevin Murphy. I'll see you in the next one.